if we know that the laws of physics are the same, we know that relativity has a speed limit, then there's no biologics that got here from another planet.
So you were saying lead with the bodies.
Yeah, I mean, Commander Fravers had nothing to do. The guy with the big eyes, I forget his name. The one who was saying, "Yes, I'm aware there were biologics." What was that? What was that guy's name? Do you remember? Okay,
Was it Greer?
maybe it was Greer. Okay,
Or Grush?
The point is with that guy is he didn't see bodies. If you go back and listen, someone told him that there were bodies. He never said it. He said it was to my understanding that they were biologics. Okay, so guys, just so we're clear, biologics, is that a spirit? Is that a floating ghost, or is that matter? I'm asking you, Austin.
Right.
Biologics,
Yeah.
would that indicate to you matter?
Correct.
Okay.
I would assume it would mean physical entity.
Physical entity, okay? Even if it's little green men. It's little green men are made of matter. What does relativity tell us about matter? How fast can it travel?
I didn't know it was going to be...
Does anyone know?
I was going to have a physics lesson.
What do you think, Travis? How fast can matter travel?
No faster than the speed of light.
There you go. It can travel no faster than the speed of light. In fact, traveling anywhere, even like 1 or 2% the speed of light is extremely difficult.
Right.
So let's say they're from the nearest star, which is Proxima Centauri. That would take 400 years at 1% the speed of light to get here. Okay?
Assuming they can do that.
Assuming they can do that. Okay. But remember, I didn't say they were biologics. I didn't.
Well, they said non-human biologics.
They're spirits, and they don't follow the laws of physics. Blah, blah, blah. No, motherfucker, they called them biologics, which means they're made of matter. Okay, so there's a limit to how fast they can travel. Checkmate, number one. Number two, Michael, the laws of physics aren't the same everywhere. Actually, they fucking are.
Math
we
works.
can look at different galaxies. When we look at galaxies, we can look at the way gravity works. Check. Looks like it's the same in Andromeda. Looks at the same in different arms of the Orion of the Milky Way. We're in the Orion arm of the Milky Way. Check. That's done. Parallax. So we can actually look at how stars move with relation to one another. And number one, this is the big one. This is the killer. This is the coup de grace. Spectroscopy. We can see that all these stars are made of the same material. And when we look at face on, whenever there's an exoplanet, we can see that exoplanets have carbon dioxide, methane, or whatever. There's not some super element that's not on the periodic table that we're not seeing. So we know that gravity works the same. We know they have the same elements on the periodic table. We know that light travels at the same speed. There's not different parts of the galaxy where like, well, light travels faster here or slower here. Okay? So the laws of physics are uniform, ubiquity, and homogeneity. That's what we say in astronomy. We see that they're the same everywhere, and we see that they're spread out equally in all directions. So because of that, we do know that in other galaxies, they have the same laws of physics and the same periodic table that we do. If we saw different elements on the periodic table, we could see them through spectroscopy. Now, it's really hard for people to grasp that. You're telling me you can shine light through a gas and tell what it's made of? Yes. That's what they do in CSI criminal labs, motherfucker. Yes, you can. It's called spectroscopy. Look it up. So if we know that the laws of physics are the same, we know that relativity has a speed limit, then there's no biologics that got here from another planet. And if there were, here's a great idea. Instead of telling me you're rich, you know what you could do? You could show me the Lamborghini. You could show me your bank account. Why are you telling me about the bodies? Show me the fucking bodies. That's how you start. Start with the bodies. But if you did, but here's what's going to happen. One more time, let me point this out. The reason why I brought it up, so we'll call him Greer, whatever his name is, and Fravers. You know they didn't know each other, right? You're
right, but doesn't that add more credibility that they're not corroborating?
No, because one of them keeps talking about cubes with a fucking sphere inside of the cube, or
a circle with a sphere inside of it, or a cube inside the sphere.
A cube inside the sphere. But Commander Favors is talking about a tic-tac. And then there's another story that he talked about a big red cube that's flying through the air. Wait, they're all different aliens now that have different laws of physics. And they got here, and there's a biologic and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, your stories don't make sense. They don't corroborate whatsoever, okay? And I just proved the laws of physics are ubiquitous all throughout galaxies, Andromeda and Milky Way. And when we look at other galaxies also, we can see that they're ubiquitous there. So we see all this kind of stuff. We know they're the same everywhere. We know they have the same cosmic speed limit we do. We can see because we can see the speed at which light travels. Okay, when we look at cosmic microwave background radiation, it's not like, well, over here it got to us faster and over here it got to us slower. No, because light travels at 299,000 kilometers per second or 186,282 miles per second. So we know that's the case. So you haven't explained that one away, but you believe that it's so funny. You don't believe the government most of the time, which, by the way, you shouldn't. You should be a skeptic towards the government. But these 3 government agents, you believe them. All of a sudden, they're the ones telling the truth. So I have a prediction, and this is on camera, so we can use this against me in the future. But I'm not worried because I'm going to end up being right. 5 years from now, when there's no fucking bodies, and there's no further proof that any of this shit is real. By the way, that Greer guy, maybe I think probably he was fooled, or something happened where he felt
he was naive about it.
Naive, or he was victimized somehow in his office for something that he did. Maybe the people. But what I personally think is that it kind of started off as an office joke, and they just knew that this guy.
Travis, watch, we're gonna get this guy to believe there's aliens.
This guy, there was like something to the effect of like he was so weird. He was such a weirdo at work, they were like, "Hey guys, let's play a prank."
So he's like a Bob Lazar figure, character.
But no, Bob Lazar is just lying. Like, it's different.
Okay.
Like Bob Lazar, like straight up didn't even go to Harvard. Like Bob Lazar's just not telling the truth. This guy on the other, because he's saying he saw the anti-gravity shit. This guy, remember, one more time. Let me say this one more time. The dude did not say he saw the bodies. Call me on that. Tell me I'm wrong. Go back and listen.
No,
he said he
you are
did
correct.
not see the bodies.
I sat in this chair and watched the whole thing in here, so cool. I know you're correct about that.
Okay, so he didn't see the bodies, but he's telling me secondhand that there were bodies. And the guy sitting next to him, he didn't see the bodies either. He saw a Tic Tac in 2014. Remember that?
I thought that was the 2004. That was the one he filmed.
I think it's 2014.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 2004. Yeah, because he was. Let's see.
Look up Commander Favors Tic Tac.
Yeah. 2004.
Okay, cool.
Off the coast of Southern California.
Even better. 2004.
It was just the Raiders.
My point is, it's just a bunch of different things. Can you turn the fan on me real quick? I'm burning up here.
The ghosts are getting them already.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a bunch of different things where like this doesn't add up. Now, ready? Here's my prediction. So call me out on this. When I'm wrong, play this over and over again. Just fucking skewer me. Ready?
Okay.
5 years from now, there will be no bodies. Those guys will have written books and go on podcast tours and have enriched themselves to the figure of 7 or 8 figures. Okay? And 5 years, when there are additionally no bodies, there will be some sort of statement about the government still covering this up, but there won't be any bodies. And remember, we had was it the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence? I forgot who they were even speaking to, but I'll say this before and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it because it's irrefutable. It's unassailable. Any president who exposed that we found aliens back in 1947 would get reelected immediately, because he would have exposed a truth that the government had been hiding for 80 years. Are you telling me, honestly, be honest with me.
Okay.
Austin, guy exposes finally that we found aliens. A president's like, I'm tired of this shit.
With undeniable proof.
Yes, I'm going to declassify this shit and blah, blah, blah. Would you vote for him? If you saw that level of honesty.
It would definitely push him more into favor of me voting for him.
Okay,
yeah.
Of course. That's my point. Same thing with a lot of people. And then the other argument I heard, I got this from Daverick. No, Michael, they can't tell people because of civil unrest. Civil unrest?
I don't know if it's that much.
Did you guys watch COVID happen? Civil unrest? You're telling me they locked us up for 15 months and we didn't go to nuclear war, but we're going to do it because we found alien bodies?
You can't handle it, Michael.
One more time. If we found unassailable proof of alien bodies, it would be out of the news cycle in less than 2 weeks because of TikTok. People would be on to the next TikTok dance and they wouldn't give a shit. I sat there, like, you're sitting there, we sit there in a country like where we watched Oppenheimer, Barbie movie, we watched Wolf of Wall Street, like all these characters that do all this crazy shit. And we're like, oh, that was cool. We watch alien movies all the time. This idea that like we can't handle, oh my God, there's aliens! We would all lose our shit. Austin, you know better. It's not, civil unrest is not a reason to not expose the aliens. So
Correct.
You tell me, why didn't Obama or Bush or Clinton or Eisenhower or Truman or Kennedy or Nixon or Ford or any of these, or Carter, or Reagan, why did none of them decide, well, let's expose these aliens? Because they don't have high enough clearance? The president of the United States. Someone needs to use some critical thinking here. Like at some point, you have to say, dude, we see crazy shit every day. Why don't we just tell them about the aliens? Because if I was president of the United States, day one, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to let you guys know something. If we have any biologics that are aliens and you don't tell me, you're going to get prosecuted. I'm going to have the Justice Department come in and put you in jail.
So now, but then how would you not end up with 2 bullets in the back of your head later that night?
Because you're telling me no president's ever crossed the CIA? Because the thing is, even if you want to say Kennedy was killed because he crossed the CIA, which I disagree with.
I disagree with that too.
He was killed because a guy defected to Russia, came there, and then put a bullet in his head with a Carcano. shot him. He got 3 rounds off. And by the way, where did he learn to shoot? Just by the way, Austin?
He was in the Marine Corps.
He was in the U.S. Marine Corps, making an unobstructed shot from 75 yards down into the right to a target moving away at 2 miles per hour directly away from him.
I could make that shot. I'm not militarily trained.
Make that shot. He had 3 shots and missed one of them. Okay,
right.
So, I'm not saying that there weren't other people involved, but I'm saying Oswald could have made that shot. Going back to what I was saying before, like this idea that we lived in this time of all this chaos. We had Martin Luther King assassinated. We have John F. Kennedy assassinated. We had RFK assassinated. And it was going to be civil unrest is the reason we can't expose these aliens is the stupidest argument I have ever heard.